Hi, hello, and welcome back to the Cozy and Code. I am back, and before you say anything, yes, I know I literally vanished for 2 whole months. No warning, no see you soon. I was just gone, like a situationship that was happening, and I stopped responding. But if you're a new listener, hi, welcome to the channel. Literally a great time to join. It's a totally normal show, nothing to see here. But on a real talk, I owe you an honest conversation because I started this podcast with a whole mission, helping people live with a purpose and stay grounded and actually being intentional. And then I proceeded to disappear off the face of the earth for like 60 days. So today we're doing something a little bit different. We're not gonna be jumping into like a big topic or like a life lesson. Today we're just talking, me and you, about what actually happened, what these 2 months actually taught me, and why I am back. And this time I really mean it. So let's get into it. First lesson is what actually happened and why did I learn. I didn't quit, I didn't lose passion, I didn't have some dramatic breakdown. Although at one point I did eat an entire sleeve at Oreos at like 11 p.m., stare at my ceiling, and just thinking. And what happened was actually way simpler than that, and maybe a little bit more relatable than I would like to admit. I just got overwhelmed, and instead of pushing through or just slowing down, I stopped completely. I had episodes planned, I had ideas, I literally had a whole content calendar mapped out. And then one week I just didn't record. And then another week passed. And by the time I reached week 3, I'd convinced myself that too much time had gone by and that people had moved on and that it was gonna be awkward for me to come back. Which, side note, is the most human thing ever. We do this all the time. We miss one day at the gym and suddenly we decide our whole fitness journey is ruined. Like ruined. We miss one journal entry and we literally close the notebook forever. We literally ghost ourselves before we give anybody else a chance to. Does it sound familiar? If that hit different, you're welcome. That one is free. But seriously, I want to talk about what I actually learned in those 2 months because it wasn't wasted time. Even the seasons where it looked like nothing is happening, something is happening. You just can't see it yet. So, for the next lesson, we're just gonna be talking about rest is not the same as quitting. So, the number one lesson I learned these past 2 months is that rest is not the same thing as quitting. But here's the catch: avoidance dressed as rest is still avoidance. Let me explain. There's a version of rest that is actually healing you. You genuinely stepped back to recharge, to reflect, and come back stronger. That is real rest. That is intentional. And then there is a version I was doing where you call it rest, but you're actually just scared. Scared of not being good enough, scared that the content won't land, scared that the people who listened before had already found somebody else better than you. That is not rest. That is fear with a cozy blanket on. And I'm not here to be harsh about it because fear is real, imposter syndrome is real, feeling like you don't deserve to take up space, that is real too. But the cure for fear isn't disappearing. The cure of fear is showing up anyway, even when you're not ready, even when it feels awkward, even when the first thing out of your mouth is, hey, I've been gone for 2 months and I ate a lot of Oreos, but you just keep going. And which brings me to like the next lesson, which is consistency. Consistency isn't glamorous, and that is fine. Consistency doesn't look how everybody thinks it looks. We see consistency on social media, it looks so perfect. We like somebody who never misses a day, who always has a great caption, whose life is effortless, put together, schedule is on. But the real consistency looks like coming back after 2 months and recording it anyway. It looks like starting over without making it a whole dramatic event. It looks like doing the thing even when you don't feel inspired or motivational already. Nobody claps for quiet consistency. There's no viral moment in I showed up again today, even though I really didn't want to, but that's the actual work. That's the stuff that builds something real over time. I want this like course and code shop to be something real, not just a highlight reel, not just a good episode where I had the energy, a great topic. I want this to be honest, and sometimes honest means sitting down in front of a microphone and yeah, I know I left, but I came back and I have to keep going. So the next lesson is your calling doesn't expire. And this one is probably the one I really needed the most. Your calling doesn't expire. That thing you feel put towards, that purpose, the passion, the thing you know you're supposed to be doing, it doesn't have a timer on. It doesn't go away because you literally just ignored it for 60 days. It doesn't just disappear because you got scared or you got distracted or you got busy. It waits, which might sound comforting, but it is also a little terrifying because it means you don't get to use it as an excuse. The door didn't close, you just stopped walking towards it. And I don't say that to put pressure on anyone listening who've been sitting on something. It might be a business idea, a conversation they need to have, a step they need to take. I say it because it is something that is freeing. You haven't missed your window. The window is still right there. You just have to walk back and go towards it. So for Cause and Code Season 2, which I'm calling it, this is what it's actually going to look like. Here's what I'm going to tell you. We are going to be going hard on the topic that actually matter to you, real life stuff, the 20 stuff, the conversations nobody in your life is having out loud, but everybody's actually thinking about them. Money, relationships, faith, identity, mental health, the Sunday scaries, the comparison spiral. I'm supposed to have my life together by now, but I don't feel like I am there. So we're gonna be giving at least one episode each week and no more disappearing eggs. And yes, I know you have to hold me accountable to that. And most importantly, this episode and show isn't going to feel like a lecture. It is something that I want it to feel like a conversation. But I think there's something powerful also about figuring it out loud together with people who actually get it. So if that's you, welcome back, or welcome for the first timer. Either way, I'm glad you're here. That was episode 1 for today, which I shot today, and I was like, I just gotta post it. I just gotta jump in front and put it out there. So for the next episode, we're talking about why your 20s feel like a permanent identity crisis. And spoiler, it's not just you, it's literally everybody. There's actually a reason for it. If this episode meant something, share it, send it to a friend who's been putting something off. Drop a comment or a review if you're listening on Spotify, on YouTube, or even if this goes on Instagram. It helps more than you know. I am your host. This is Cause and Code, and I'll see you next episode. Signing out.